Kamloops is a great place to live, but there are irritating things about living here, and maybe if you live here already, you'll agree with me. These are the 9 things I would change if I could, starting right now. Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Pereira. I'm a licensed realtor of 25 years living in beautiful Kamloops, British Columbia. And just a friendly reminder, I solve real estate problems. And if you're a buyer or a seller and you need some help, it costs you nothing extra to work with tremendous experience and a passion for real estate. And I love solving problems. So please reach out to me in the show notes below or at the end of this video. And if you're a buyer, it costs you nothing at all. Let's talk about the annoying and irritating things about Kamloops. And if you live here, maybe you'd change these things as well. Let's get started. Number 1 is railway noise. And Kamloops is both blessed and cursed for having both national railways meet in Kamloops, CN and CP. And they employ a lot of people. And we can be thankful for that, but at the same time, railways move a lot of traffic coast to coast. And if you live near the railroad tracks, you're going to encounter a lot of noise and vibration and particles, dust particles and diesel particles from the trains themselves. Now, you can be affected by the noise and vibration even if you don't live right beside the tracks. And if you are unfortunate in living in a neighborhood which is split by railroad tracks, you might be waiting a very long time if a train is stuck for emergency reasons or mechanical reasons. You might be stuck on one side of the tracks trying to get out or the other side trying to get in. So be careful what neighborhood you're going to live in, but railroads are a very real aspect of living in Kamloops. Number 2 is the pulp mill smell, also known as Domtar. And this is a bit of a double-edged sword because Domtar employs a lot of people and that's great for the city. But when you smell the pulp mill, it's perhaps a couple times a month and some neighborhoods are more affected than others. But it's a lot better than it used to be and it's getting better all the time. But again, Domtar employs a lot of people here and it's a small price to pay. Number 3 is termites. And people are always surprised when I mention termites, even if they've lived in Kamloops their entire lives, because it's not discussed very often. But subterranean termites are a significant problem in Kamloops and any neighborhood can be affected. Now, don't be too alarmed because these aren't like the termites you see in videos from Africa. These are subterranean termites that come from rotten wood in the ground and they make their way into your house and then eat your house from the inside out. But it takes years and years and years before they do significant damage that could be structural. So be sure and get a professional home inspection done and perhaps even a termite inspection done of any home you plan to buy. Number 4 is Kamloops roads. And when I'm referring to Kamloops roads, I'm talking about the pavement. Kamloops is notorious for bad potholes and a patchwork of fills and patches on our roads and no real repaving of roads over time. And it just seems that the quality of the roads when they were laid were not the best. Now, this is a frequent bone of contention that's mentioned in the Kamloops newspaper and on Kamloops forums. And the Kamloops City and the City Works is always blaming the freeze-thaw factor and Kamloops weather for our bad roads. But that doesn't jive with me because I've been in a lot of other interior cities and their pavement seems to be a whole lot better than ours. So I'm going to chalk it up to the Kamloops City Council and Mayor and City Works simply not caring or not putting enough money into the budget, and a lot of other people feel the same way. Number 5 is Kamloops nightlife, and this one can be a bit of a doozy compared to what you're used to. Now, if you're from a larger city and you're used to club hopping and a very active and electric downtown with lots of energy and a lot of drinking, Kamloops is going to come up short. There's only a couple of clubs and a few pubs and restaurants, but downtown can be a very quiet place both evenings and weekends. So keep that in mind. If you're a university student, there is a club and pub called Heroes at TRU, and that's a great place for university students. But many students come down to party and drink at Cactus Jack's. Keep in mind, however, that we are a city of 100,000 people and we don't have a lot of clubs here, but it would be great if the downtown were more promoted and more active in the evening so people would have more things to do. Hopefully that changes in the future. Number 6 is shopping. And when I say shopping, we are well served by many stores, national chains, mom and pops, and independent stores. But one of the things I find frustrating is when it comes to clothes and shoes. If you're an average sized guy, and I've heard this from ladies as well, you'll have difficulty finding your size because they don't seem to keep enough stock. And this is true for shoes as well. You might find the perfect set of shoes, but they don't have your size and they tell you to order it online. Now, I can't explain why they don't keep enough stock of average sizes in Kamloops, but this is a complaint I've heard from a lot of other people in the city as well. So be aware that if you're average, you may not be able to get your size when you go shopping. This baffles me and it surprises me, but it's been happening for years. Number 7 is the lack of small acreages available to buyers. Sadly, within Kamloops, there is a real problem with finding small acreages because a lot of people come from other areas and they want an acre or 3 and they want some privacy from their neighbors or doing a little bit of hobby farming. This is a very, very rare thing in Kamloops within the city limits. There are properties, but they're very, very rare and very expensive. Now you can find small acreages within a 45-minute to an hour range, but that can be quite a drive, particularly in the winter, and there just wasn't a lot of foresight in terms of small acreages when the city was cut up originally. Now you can go to Knutsford and Cherry Creek, which aren't too far outside the city limits in terms of small acreages, but be aware there are lots of water problems there. Water can be non-existent on properties and the quality and quantity can be minimal, and what you can get is terrible in terms of quality. So take care and be careful when buying a property in rural areas. Number 8 on the not so happy list is sidewalks. Many neighborhoods within Kamloops have no sidewalks. Many of the neighborhoods on the North Shore possess no sidewalks. So North Kamloops was at one time its own municipality. And at the time, the city council and mayor didn't require developers to put sidewalks in. So we don't have sidewalks in many parts of North Kamloops, but we also don't have them in parts of South Kamloops. That is Barnhart Vale and other areas. So it's frustrating if you come from a city where you have nice sidewalks and curbs and to go into other areas and neighborhoods in Kamloops and see no sidewalks at all. But it is common, and I wish I could go back in time and change that, but here we are. Number 9 on the not so great list is rattlesnakes. And when I refer to rattlesnakes, I'm talking about rattlesnakes, on the trails and in the country in the desert hills. Now, Kamloops enjoys over 2,000 hours of sunshine a year because we are in a northern desert belt, which extends from Washington State all the way up through the Okanagan and ends in Ashcroft. Now, with the desert comes termites and rattlesnakes. And rattlesnake bites are not very common in BC. About 5 people get bitten in BC, not Kamloops, but all through the Okanagan and in Kamloops. And they're very, very rarely fatal. But rattlesnakes don't try and bite you. They avoid people as much as they can. So if they see trails where there's a lot of activity, they tend to stay away. Now, the concern you need to have as a hiker and worried about rattlesnakes is that if your pets are off leash, they might startle a rattlesnake. Your kids, sort of running around in the sagebrush and that kind of thing, could also encounter a rattlesnake. And if they do and they're bit, you need to take them to the hospital right away. The survivability rate is very, very high. Now, if you're in the more green areas around Kamloops, then rattlesnakes are not all that common. They're more in the dry desert hills around Kamloops. So keep that in mind. Well, there you have it. The 9 not so great and irritating things about living in Kamloops. And you may or may not disagree with me, but whatever it is, please comment down below. If you have any real estate related questions or you need some help, please reach out to me in the show notes below or at the end of this video. Please hit the subscribe button and the like button because it motivates me to make more videos. Thank you for watching.